Good afternoon. This is the Knox County Board of Commissioners legislative agenda for September 23rd, 2024. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Rawls.
Here.
Commissioner Derrick.
Here.
Commissioner Oster.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Russell.
Here.
Commissioner Hill. Here. Commissioner Lee. Here. Commissioner Thompson.
Here.
Commissioner Fox.
Here.
Commissioner Jay.
Here.
Commissioner Frazier.
Present.
All members are present.
Thank you. To my right is Assistant Law Director Mike Moyers, and to my left is Haley Wilson and Kim Ellis. Oh, she's not. Okay. I see some elected officials in the room. We have Scott Griswold, Randy Smith, former County Commissioner, and former Vice Mayor Louise Povlin, and we've got Chris Davis in the audience. I will now turn it over to Commissioner Frazier for devotion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to start by asking everyone, how are you doing? How are you doing? All of you up here and all of you out there. How are you doing?
Great.
I love it. All right. So a lot of work has gone into this very moment. And I want to give thanks to everyone that had a part to play in this moment right now. First, our incredible county team members. If you are a county team member, will you raise your hand? I see you all over there. Raise your hand. You work tirelessly behind the scenes, supporting our citizens, doing the critical background work of elected officials, and helping one another within and across departments, day in and day out, nights and often weekends too. And that is not lost on us. The governance of Knox County does not happen without you, and it is a privilege to pray that you know your value and the impact that each of you has on our community. Commissioners, new and old, your obedience to this calling upon your life has not come without hard work and a fair share of challenges. That doesn't end now that we are all in these seats. In fact, it gets harder, and you may find yourself asking, what is on the other side of this obedience? That's a good thing. Keep asking yourself that every day and lean into your faith, whatever that looks like for you. For me, that is through my relationship with Christ. I know that he can only work with the space that I give him. And sometimes the hardest work is ensuring that I don't fill up his space, the space where faith should live, with something else. So I encourage you to remember that the strength that you need for tomorrow comes from the faith work that you do today. So put in the work. Will you all pray with me? Faithful Father, I pray for the hearts and minds of those that you have called to serve all people. I pray that you bless them with strength and endurance as they carry out their duties, often under challenging and stressful circumstances. Please grant them the wisdom and discernment in their work so that they can provide sound direction and make wise decisions. I ask that you help them maintain a spirit of service and selflessness, always putting the needs of others before their own. Give them a humble sense of purpose and fulfillment in the work they know that they're doing. It does matter, and their contributions matter. May they continue to serve with dedication and commitment, love and compassion, justice and compromise, and respect for all. In your name I ask these things, amen.
Thank you, Commissioner Frazier. I'll now turn it over to Commissioner Lee for the Pledge of Allegiance.
If everyone would please stand and salute our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Commissioners, if you will indulge me, I would like a second for point of personal privilege and invite Chris Davis from the Election Commission up. He wanted to speak to us for about 30 seconds.
I'm on the clock, so I'll be brief. Commissioners, thank you. Congratulations to all our new commissioners who just got sworn in just recently. I'm here today real quick to talk about early voting. As you well know, there is a big election coming up. I can tell you most every Knox County knows because they're all calling our office or emailing our office. But it begins October the 16th. It runs through Halloween. We have generous hours. And for the first time ever, we have 12 early voting locations. That is the most ever. I highly encourage you to encourage your constituents to get out and early vote, because if you wait until Election Day, there will be long lines. And I'm talking the difference between 1 hour on Election Day and maybe 3 hours or longer 1 hour during early voting and 3 hours on Election Day. For more information, check out our website, Knox Votes. And if any of your constituents have any concerns or anything else, I will also just share real quick on October the 2nd, which is Wednesday from a week now, at 8:30 at Downtown West, we will have a public machine test / mock election. I know there's a lot of skeptics out there, a lot of social media garbage going on. For all those people who claim that elections are fixed and elections are rigged and all this other BS, I encourage you, come out, watch this, see what we do. Because frankly, I get sick of hearing it and I try to preach as much as possible. Commissioner, thank you very much.
He always gets us fired up. We will now go to the amendments on the agenda. The additions are number 30, 52, 53, and 54. Again, that's 30, 52, 53, and 54. We have one withdrawal. We have a deferral to October is number 55, and non-consent 36 through 40, 42 through 45, 49 through 54, and 56. I'll go with those one more time. 36 to 40, 42 to 45, 49 to 54, and 56. Do I have a motion to approve the amended?
Second.
I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Durrett. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Looking for a motion to approve the government consent and education consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion made by Commissioner Durrett, second by Commissioner Jay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.
Educational agenda. Thank you, if anybody from the schools are here, for adding girls flag football. That's going to be exciting for us.
Oh, that is going to be.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Hill. All right. Clerk, if you will read the first item, please.
We're on page 6, honorary resolutions. Item number 36 is R-24-9-101. It's a resolution honoring Commissioner Daisha Lundy for her service on the Knox County Commission.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Durrett, second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Commissioner Durrett?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did speak to Dr. Lundy, and she is unable to attend this evening, though I do want to take a moment to recognize the work she put into her community this past 4 years, but not just these past 4 years. She has been doing this work for a long time before that. And she and I became fast friends when we were running for our seats 4 years ago during COVID, having to be very creative in how we reach the public and that sort of thing. And so, and also not ever doing anything like this before. And so she is somebody I would aspire to be. Her poise and just her feet, like she governs with her soul. It's not just with her academics. It's her whole being, so that's something I would aspire to be as an elected official. And she has always had what is best for her community at heart, and I think she well represents her community. And so with that, I will read her honorary resolution. Whereas Daisha Lundy's term as Knox County Commissioner representing the people of the 1st Commission District expired on August 31st, 2024. And whereas Commissioner Daisha Lundy was elected to the Knox County Commission in 2020 to serve a 4-year term. And whereas Commissioner Lundy holds a Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry from the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga,
and a master's and doctorate in physical therapy from Tennessee State University and the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, respectively. And whereas in 2019, Dr. Lundy was recognized by the young professionals of Knoxville as an outstanding young professional and was a member of the Leadership Knoxville class of 2022. And whereas Commissioner Daisha Lundy ably served on several boards and committees while on commission, including the Agricultural Extension Committee, Joint Education Committee, Rules Committee, Legislative Affairs Committee, and Vice Chair of the Telecom Committee. And whereas during Commissioner Lundy's tenure on the commission, she staunchly supported schools, organizations that support students, small businesses, and nonprofits in her community, all for the benefit of First District. And whereas, as a community advocate and leader who was born and raised in East Knoxville, Commissioner Daisha Lundy faithfully served with a deep understanding of the values and needs of her constituency and an unwavering dedication to improving the well-being and prosperity of her community. And whereas in her service on the commission, Commissioner Lundy passionately advocated for all matters she considered important and in the best interest of Knox County. And whereas Commissioner Daisha Lundy demonstrated the utmost professionalism, ability, and integrity throughout her tenure on the commission, earning her the respect and admiration of both her fellow commissioners and the people of Knox County. And whereas the commission wishes to join the people of Knox County in thanking Dr. Daisha Lundy for her service on the Knox County Commission and lasting impact on Knox County. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Commission of Knox County as follows. The Commission of Knox County hereby honors Daisha Lundy for her years of dedicated service on the Knox County Commission, representing the people of the 1st Commission District, and wishes her the best in all her future endeavors. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution will be presented to Dr. Daisha Lundy. Be it further resolved that this resolution is to take effect from and after its passage as provided by the Charter of Knox County, Tennessee, the public welfare requiring it.
Thank you, Commissioner Durrett. Next item.
Item number 37 is Resolution 102. It's honoring Commissioner Kyle Ward for his service on the Knox County Commission.
I'm sorry?
Go to the podium.
You can say
Go to the podium. Oh.
Mr. Ward, if you would like to join Commissioner Jackson at the podium. Thank you. We need a motion.
I motion for approval.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Jackson, a second by Commissioner Jay. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Mr. Jackson, the floor is yours.
Now, I met Commissioner Ward several years ago, and, you know, Commissioner Ward has always, throughout his life, been drawn to public service. Commissioner Ward is a veteran of our armed services. He was a veteran, 4-year veteran of the United States Air Force and served admirably and was got an honorable discharge. And he also served our country by serving 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan. So thank you very much for your service to our country as well, Commissioner Ward. And, you know, one thing that I remember about Commissioner Ward was his leadership and his desire to seek, mental health for our constituents and mental health hospital. And we actually now are beginning to get some developments there from the state of Tennessee and Commissioner Ward should get some credit for moving that forward. And thank you very much, Commissioner Ward, for your time. Therefore, I'll read the resolution. Whereas Kyle Ward's term as County Commissioner representing the people of the 4th Commission District expired August 31st, 2024. And whereas Commissioner Kyle Ward was elected to the Knox County Commission in 2020 to serve a 4-year term. And whereas Commissioner Kyle Ward was ably served on several boards and committees while on the commission. including the Retirement and Pension Board, Investment Committee, Knox County Golf Board, Insolvency Board, and Vice Chair of the Finance Committee. And whereas Commissioner Kyle Ward was selected by his colleagues to serve as chairman of the 2021 Knox County Redistricting Committee, leading the Redistricting Committee in its vital role to redistrict County Commission and Board of Education districts following the 2020 federal census. And whereas while on commission, Commissioner Ward was a tireless advocate for state funding for expanded mental health care services in Knox County. And whereas during Commissioner Ward's tenure on the commission, he helped and influenced several projects for the benefit of the 4th District and the county, including, to name a few, advocating for the adoption of the Juneteenth holiday, improvements for North Shore Drive, flood improvements to Bluegrass Lake, and pedestrian safety improvements at A.L. Lotz Elementary School. And whereas the commission will undoubtedly miss Commissioner Ward's straightforward and sensible guidance on the many issues confronted by the commission, and whereas Commissioner Ward demonstrated the utmost professionalism, ability, and integrity throughout his tenure on the commission, earning him the respect and admiration of both his fellow commissioners and the people of Knox County, and whereas the commission wishes to join the people of Knox County in thanking Kyle Ward for his service on the Knox County Commission and lasting impact on Knox County. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Commission of Knox County as follows. The Commission of Knox County hereby honors Kyle Ward for his years of dedicated service on the Knox County Commission representing the people of the 4th Commission District, and wishes him the best in all his future endeavors. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to Kyle Ward. Be it further resolved that this resolution is to take effect from and after its passage as provided by the Charter of Knox County, Tennessee, the public welfare requiring it. Congratulations and thank you for your service. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Ward, do you have anything you'd like to add?
It's dangerous giving me back the microphone after I've left now.
I was a little concerned,
yeah.
but.
First off, want to thank God for giving me all the abilities and having me here in general. It feels different coming back. It's a better view on this side, I'll just say that much. But I would like to thank my wife, really. She loaned me out for 4 years and put up with me and my poor attitude, sometimes coming home late, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning during those COVID days. I'd like to thank all the commissioners I served with. Everybody came before me. Randy's here. He was a big influence on me when I first got on. I want to thank him. Thank the mayor. All the staff have been so kind and sweet to me over the last 4 years. The only message I want to say is to my sons, I picked you yesterday, I picked you today, and I will always pick you going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. And commissioners, we will grab pictures with each commissioner. So Commissioner Ward, if we can grab you for a picture, that would be great. Uh-huh.
Everybody smile. Looking good.
Thank you, Commissioner Jackson. Next item, please.
Item number 38, Resolution 103. It's a resolution honoring Commissioner John Schoolmaker for his service on the Knox County Commission.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Frazier, a second by Commissioner Durrett. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Commissioner Frazier, the floor is yours.
We've got a fan club here, and I love it. I first met Commissioner John Schoonmaker back in 2013. He may not even remember, but it was when a group of my own community members wanted to learn more about getting organized and advocating on behalf of our community. And everyone that I talked to kept saying to me, "You need to talk with John Schoonmaker." I was like, "Oh, okay. So after hearing that about a dozen times, I tracked him down, and within 10 minutes into the conversation, I quickly realized why all those folks kept saying that to me, that you need to talk to John Schoonmaker. He was not only a wealth of knowledge and experience in community advocacy and local government processes, but he was compassionate, caring, he had a servant's heart, and he just wanted to help others in any way that he could. It came as no surprise to me and everyone when he was asked to step up and serve as the 5th District's Knox County Commissioner, a responsibility that he has proudly carried with great seriousness, veracity, and compassion. And we are all better because of Commissioner Schoonmaker's commitment to this work and to his community. He has been a true inspiration to not only me, but I think to dozens of people who feel called to do this work. And it is such an honor. It is such an honor to recognize you and your commitment to not only our community, but our state and our families. You've made a difference, and I hope that you carry that with you in all of your days. So now I'm going to read the resolution. Whereas John Schoonmaker's term as Knox County Commissioner representing the people of the 5th Commission District expired on August 31st, 2024. And whereas Commissioner John Schoonmaker was first appointed to the Knox County Commission in January 2015 and was subsequently elected in 2016 and re-elected in 2020. And whereas Commissioner John Schoonmaker was an acknowledged leader on the commission, having been elected by his colleagues to serve as vice chair in 2020. And whereas Commissioner John Schoonmaker ably served on several boards and committees while on the commission, including the Agricultural Extension Committee, Retirement and Pension Board, Arena Use Committee, 2020 Charter Review Committee, Ethics Committee, Investment Committee, Rules Committee, Insolvency Board, 8 years on the Audit Committee, and Chair of the Finance Committee for 4 years. And whereas, in addition to the aforesaid committees, Commissioner Schoonmaker served in the leadership role of Chair of the Legislative Affairs Committee for the past 6 years since the committee was established, and as such, he was instrumental in making it an active and beneficial committee. Whereas over the course of his 9.5-year tenure on the commission, Commissioner Schoonmaker commendably attended every commission meeting, perfect attendance, work session, beer board, finance committee, and audit committee meeting. And whereas while on commission, Commissioner Schoonmaker influenced several projects for the benefit of the 5th District and the county, including, to name a few, Canton Hollow Road improvements, Parkside Drive widening, the West Knox Senior Center, and helped secure funding for safety improvements along South North Shore Drive. And whereas prior to his service on the commission, Commissioner Schoonmaker served as a past president of the Council of West Knox County Homeowners and as one of the first citizen members on the Knox County Board of Zoning Appeals. And the knowledge and experience he gained from serving in these capacities made him a valuable resource for the Commission on zoning matters. And whereas Commissioner Schoonmaker recognized the importance of learning from other counties in Tennessee for the betterment of Knox County, and as such, he was active in the Tennessee County Commissioners Association and also served on the Tennessee County Services Association Board of Directors, which is the umbrella group for Tennessee County mayors, county commissioners, and highway officials, representing all county commissioners who reside in eastern Tennessee. And whereas Commissioner Schoonmaker has been especially noted for his attention to detail and interest in Knox County's financial affairs as an advocate of fiscal responsibility. And whereas Commissioner Schoonmaker demonstrated the utmost professionalism, ability, and integrity throughout his tenure on commission, earning him the respect and admiration of both his fellow commissioners and the people of Knox County. And whereas the Commission wishes to join the people of Knox County in thanking John Schoonmaker for his service on the Knox County Commission and lasting impact on Knox County. Now therefore be it resolved by the Commission of Knox County as follows. The Commission of Knox County hereby honors John Schoonmaker for his many years of dedicated service on the Knox County Commission representing the people of the 5th Commission District and wishes him the best in all of his future endeavors. Can you please join me? I have one more thing. I have one more thing. On behalf of Senator Richard Briggs and the Governor, Bill Lee of the state of Tennessee, I offer this recognition for your tremendous service to Knox County.
I don't have my glasses on, but what is
He's speechless. This is a first.
Wow. Oh my God. What does this mean?
Colonel Aide de Camp.
Yes. Colonel Aide de Camp. It is for your service to Knox County.
Does that mean I'm a Tennessee colonel?
Well, if you want us to call you that, we can.
Yeah, well, that might be better than commissioner, right?
Mr. Schoonmaker,
Oh my
Mr.
gosh.
Schoonmaker, if you'll allow Ms. Pavlin to go, she wanted to also recognize you, and then,
yeah.
yes, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair Oster. I appreciate your allowing me to speak. When I began my service on the Town of Farragut Board of Mayor and Aldermen in early 2016, John Schoonmaker was already serving as Knox County Commissioner for the 5th District. As you all know, when you step into the role of elected official, you don't know what you don't know. The learning curve is steep, and just when you think you've got a handle on things, something comes out of left field, leaving you flummoxed once again. It was difficult enough to learn how the Town of Farragut works and the laws that govern municipal government, but from time to time, I needed to also understand county government and how you all operate. John was always available to answer my questions or just to listen to me kvetch and complain. I always appreciated his wise counsel. He always answered the phone, every time. And I lost my place.
I didn't know what to expect.
There you go, because I could come out of left field as well. John Schoonmaker has been an incredible partner and advocate for the Town of Farragut. During his tenure, John worked tirelessly to find a new location for the West Knox Senior Center. His persistence led to a collaboration between the town and Knox County to purchase the old Lutheran Church in Farragut and renovate it to house both the Farragut Community Center and the new West Knox Senior Center. This collaboration has provided West Knox County with an incredible asset. Additionally, John brought attention to revenues collected by the state of Tennessee that should be coming back to local governments. His tenacity and advocacy has not gone unnoticed and is greatly appreciated. August 2024 also brought an end to my service as Vice Mayor and Alderman to the Town of Farragut, as I, like John, am term limited. I am proud of my service to Farragut as well as to Knox County, and I'm proud of the collaborative effort that John and I were able to work together on. Thank you.
That was awesome. Well, now I definitely have to say something, I guess. Well, first off, I think you as county commissioners know that you could not do your job unless your family was 100% behind you. And they are definitely 100% and directly behind me. This is my wife, Heather, my daughter, Laura, and my son, Justin. And, you know, to get that 100% attendance at all those meetings meant they had to suffer, because it wasn't like, hey, let's go away for this long weekend, come back on Tuesday. Well, we couldn't because there was a beer board meeting on Monday night or whatever. So they suffered a little bit, but I do appreciate it. And the other thing, and I appreciate the comments from the former Vice Mayor, Louise. Oh, she's already left. Anyways, Farragut's a great community, and it's just been great working with her and Mayor Williams. And of course, we've got Julie here from the Farragut Chamber. You know, the Farragut West Knox Chamber is an awesome asset to the 5th District, and they do a phenomenal job. But as a commissioner, and some advice for the new commissioners, get to know these folks here on my right. These are the ones that are going to make you do your job so much better. I have gained so many friendships from the county directors of different departments and serving with Randy back there, but this is the lifeblood of Knox County back here. And get to know these folks because they will make you look good. And every once in a while, thank the staff back here, Drew and Sharon, and then also from the law director's office, Jill. Where would we be if she didn't do all this work for us, right? So, and David, and of course, Mike Moyer. So I appreciate it. As I said at last month's meeting, this is the best job I've ever had for the lowest pay. But it's been great, and I wish you all good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, put it down. Picture.
Are we allowed? Supposed to? Oh, all right.
Everybody smile. One more.
All right, don't move. Stay where you're at. Smile.
Get our steps in tonight. Next item, please.
The next item is number 39. It's Resolution 104. It's a resolution honoring Commissioner Richie Beeler for his service on the Knox County Commission.
Uh-huh.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to
approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Perfect. Thank you. I've got a motion by Commissioner Lee, a second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. You're not getting away with it. Get down here.
I want to make sure it passed.
Commissioners, particularly the new commissioners, 2 years ago when I started on this journey, I had the pleasure of sitting by Commissioner Beeler, and at that time we used to have little buttons, and he continually helped me when my light was on, which was most of the time. He would say, "Your light's on, do you have something to say?" So he did help me along the way. But one thing I wanted to mention about Commissioner Beeler, that he is a servant and has been a servant in Knox County and continues to serve, but he's also a servant of the Lord. He is a man of faith, and this commission honored my pastor, Pastor Billy McCool, for his 65 years in the ministry. Commissioner Beeler wrote him a note recognizing him and appreciation, and that meant so much to my pastor, and that really showed me what kind of man that Commissioner Beeler was, that he took the time out of his busy schedule just to send a little note that was honoring my pastor. So that is just the type of man that Commissioner Beeler is. But whereas Richie Beeler's term as Knox County Commissioner representing the people of the 8th Commission District expired on August 31st, 2024. Whereas Commissioner Richie Beeler was first appointed to the Knox County Commission in December 2018 and subsequently elected in 2020 to serve a 4-year term. And whereas Commissioner Beeler was an acknowledged leader on the commission, having been elected by his colleagues to lead the commission as his chairman in 2021. Whereas Commissioner Richie Beeler ably served on several boards and committees while on commission, including the Retirement and Pension Board, Joint Education Committee, 2020 Charter Review Committee, Audit Committee, Public Records Commission, Metro Drug Coalition, Insolvency Board, Legislative Affairs Committee, and Chair of the Telecom Committee and CTV. And whereas born and raised in the Gibbs community, Commissioner Beeler is a lifelong supporter and contributor to Gibbs schools and was instrumental in gaining improvements to the schools and athletic programs in Gibbs and throughout the 8th District. And whereas during Commissioner Richie Beeler's tenure on the commission, he influenced several projects for the benefit of the 8th District and the county, including, to name a few, the Gibbs pedestrian bridge over Tazewell Pike, and helped secure funds to rebuild the bridge on Houday Road. And whereas Commissioner Beeler faithfully served with a deep understanding of the values and needs of his constituency and an unwavering dedication to effectively representing his community, and whereas the commission will undoubtedly miss Commissioner Beeler's thoughtful, insightful, reasoned guidance on many issues confronted by the commission, and whereas Commissioner Richie Beeler demonstrated the utmost professionalism, ability, and integrity throughout his tenure on the commission, earning him the respect and admiration of both his fellow commissioners and the people of Knox County. And whereas the commission wishes to join the people of Knox County in thanking Richie Beeler for his service on the Knox County Commission and lasting impact on Knox County. Now therefore be it resolved by the Commission of Knox County as follows. The Commission of Knox County hereby honors Richie Beeler for his many years of dedicated service on the Knox County Commission, representing the people of the 8th Commission District, and wishing him all the best in his future endeavors. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to Richie Beeler. Be it further resolved that this resolution is to take effect from and after its passage as provided by the Charter of Knox County, Tennessee, the public welfare requiring it.
Thank you for, yes,
I
thank
think
you.
Commissioner Beeler would like to say something.
Thank you for reading that, Rhonda. I really appreciate that. Yeah, really quick, I wanted to say a few things. Thank you guys so much for that. It's an honor to be honored. And I want to echo what a couple of my colleagues said about the staff of Knox County back here. I didn't mention them when I gave my parting remarks, but you guys are amazing. You're awesome. You make Mayor Jacobs look good. And I really appreciate just, your friendship and your help with everything we do. Drew, Sharon, Jill, our legal folks, thank you all for everything. You make our job much easier every day. To those of you who are new to this body, I say to you, thank you for being willing to be part of it. I do pray for you, and I mean that, because I'm telling you, you cannot know how hard this job is until you sat in one of those seats. It's tough. You take it home with you. Take it to bed with you. You take it to church with you. It's tough, and it's heavy, and I do pray for you, and I thank you. To those of you that I did serve with respect and permission, I'm going to call you by your first names. I got to say a few words about the colleagues I'm departing with, but I wanted to say some things about you guys really quickly. Courtney, our friendship has taught me that even though we have a different letter behind our names, we agree on far more than we disagree on. And friendship transcends politics, and thank God for that. And Gina, you are a leader, and I recognize that really quickly when you came on this body. And Knox County is fortunate to have you in that seat. And it's a burden to bear too, but I know you will handle this more than capably. And I appreciate you so much. Terry, you have taught me so much about what it really means to be a district commissioner, because I never saw anybody work harder to make sure that all your constituents were heard. whether you agreed with them or disagreed with them, or whether they disagreed with you, you always wanted to make sure they knew that you heard their voices. And that's an example to all of us. Rhonda Lee, I will tell you, it was comforting and strengthening to me to know that there was somebody at my right hand that believes to their core the same things I do. And that meant a lot to me. And thank you for being a great seatmate. Larson J., you've been a friend to me since the moment I sat up there. And you taught me more than anybody's taught me about this. Not just how to be a good commissioner, but just how to act when you're sitting up there. And I'll never forget that, and I appreciate that. And Kim Frazier. Well, let me just say, I've never been in a foxhole, but if I ever am, I hope you're in there with me. Because you are a fighter, and you work tirelessly at this job, and you make us all look bad sometimes. But I'll tell you what you did for me is you made me look good, because I can't count the times that I got a lot of credit from my constituents for things that you worked your tail off on. And I appreciate that, and I'll never forget that. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Oh, hey, Kim. Thanks for everything you do, too. I'll see you in the morning. I love you all. Thank you so much.
Smile. One more.
Okay, now that we've all teared up, thank you, Commissioner Baylor. Next item, please.
Item number 40 is Resolution 105. It's a resolution honoring Commissioner Carson Daly for his service on the Knox County Commission.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Jay, second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Commissioners. I get to play cleanup, but sometimes we save the best for last, and tonight is no exception. I tell you, when I sat in this audience and came to my first few commission meetings, there's often breaks in between, and I remember Carson Daly came up and said, "Well, you're a new face. What do you welcome to commission, and what are you doing, and what can I do to help?" And then when I announced that I was running for commission the first time, I sent a letter to every commissioner and said, "I'd like to learn more about your district. If I'm successful, I will gladly serve and help represent you as well as all of your constituents." And the first person that picked up the phone was Carson Daly, and we met at Love That Barbecue. And I was kind of a dork, and I pulled out an old school map out of my truck, and we sat there and we literally traced his district in South Knoxville, and we talked about each community, and we sat there. We probably had about a 2-hour lunch, and Commissioner Daly sat there and told me about every nook and cranny, every community, and the good, the bad, the ugly, and the opportunity. And as big of a district as Commissioner Daly had, boy, did he know every stone in every turn and every person. And I don't think I've ever met somebody who so dedicated himself to public service than Commissioner Daly. Every single day he woke up and said, "What can I do to be helpful?" And some days it was just picking up a few pieces of trash on the side of the road, or a sign that he knew was stuck in the right-of-way illegally, and he had a truck full of them. And sometimes it was just showing up to a neighbor's house and seeing how they were. And then, even when he was laid up with a knee infection, trying to help his constituents, and we were struggling to find a way to for him connect, Every single day he woke up and said, how can I help South Knoxville? How can I help the 9th District? And let us all see Commissioner Daly as an example of what we should do as commissioners in our service. So I'm going to read this here tonight. This is a proclamation stating, whereas Carson Daly's term as a Knox County Commissioner representing the people of the 9th Commission District expired on August 31st, 2024, and whereas Commissioner Carson Daly was first elected to the Knox County Commission in 2016 and re-elected in 2020, and whereas Commissioner Carson Daly ably served on several boards and committees while on the commission, including the Agricultural Extension Committee for 7 years, the Development Corporation Board, 2022 Charter Review Committee, Joint Education Committee, Code Commission, Arena Use Committee, Fire and Technical Rescue Committee, Personnel Committee, Vice Chairman of the Insolvency Board, Vice Chairman of the Telecom Committee, and longtime Vice Chairman of the Legislative Affairs Committee. Is there one that you didn't serve on? We should have just...
Anything without finance.
Anything without finance. Whereas in addition to the aforesaid committees, Carson Daly greatly influenced amendments to the commission rules during his tenure, having served 7 consecutive years on the Rules Committee, with 6 of those years in leadership role as either the chairman or vice chairman. And whereas prior to his service on the Knox County Commission, Commissioner Carson Daly served as one of the first citizen members of the Knox County Board of Zoning Appeals, and the knowledge and experience he gained from serving on BZA made him a valuable resource for the commission on zoning matters. And whereas during Commissioner Daly's tenure on the commission, he helped and influenced several projects for the benefit of the 9th District and the county, including, to name a few, advocating for the missing greenway segment at Bonnie Kate Elementary, initiating a study for managing development along the John Sevier Scenic Corridor Highway, and many park improvements, including a splash pad at French Memorial Park. And whereas Commissioner Daly led the effort to update Knox County's litter ordinance for increased enforcement of litter crimes, and throughout his tenure on the commission, he tirelessly advocated for more resources for the Knox County litter program and secured an environmental crimes officer for Knox County who has greatly aided in the county's efforts in convenience center policy adherence. And whereas Commissioner Daly's excellence as a public servant was recognized in his receipt of the 2022 Keep Knoxville Beautiful Felicia Award for his many years of dedicated advocacy and efforts to protect and preserve the natural beauty of Knox County, and the TCCA 2023 Ralph Puckett Outstanding County Commissioner Award for being extremely involved and effective in serving his community. And whereas as a resident and active member of South Knoxville for many years, Commissioner Daly faithfully served with a deep understanding of the values and needs of his constituency and an unwavering dedication to representing the people of his district and Knox County. And whereas Commissioner Carson Daly demonstrated the utmost professionalism, ability, integrity through his tenure on the commission, earning him the respect and admiration of both his fellow commissioners and the people of Knox County. And whereas the Knox County Commission wishes to join the people of Knox County in thanking Carson Daly for his service on the Knox County Commission and lasting impact on Knox County. Please join me in a round of applause for our commissioner.
Well, the great John Ward, I'm going to quote him, but I'm going to put a comma beside it. Thank you. Now I know that after being the last in line, everything's been said, just like in public forum. After the third or fourth speaker, they don't add very much. So this is what I'm going to say. Drew, thank you. Sharon, thank you. Jill, thank you. My friend David, thank you. Friend Mike Steele, thank you. Allie, great to get to know you. Courtney, awesome to serve with you. There's not an R or a D beside our names. Terry, great to serve with you also. Chancellor Moyers, great to serve with you. Commissioner Frazier, hard worker. Commissioner Oster, thank you. You'll make a great chair. Kim, my lifesaver lady. I love my lifesavers. Rhonda, thank you very much for your values that you stand up for. Commissioner Jay, appreciate Commissioner Jay and everything that he's done. Zach, best IT department in Knox County. Dwight Vanderbeek, absolutely positively has jumped the fire and rescue technical committee to #1. #1 committee is that one. Close second to that one is rules. Third is Ag Committee. Perry, Chris, thank you. Greatest financial department that we've got. I see Joe Mack over there. Thank you, Joe, for the splash pad. And the many times I called you and was kind of mad, but you didn't. You took it in stride. Thank you very much. Stephanie, thank you. HR. Jenny, Community Service. Matt Myers. Matt and I butted heads a couple of times, but we're friends. I see Jim Snowden. The greatest engineer in the universe, not this world, but the universe. Randy Smith, you're a friend, absolutely. Chris Caldwell back there, we still got some things that we need to do. I need your money. Money, is that Mandy? Thank you very much for the mayor's office. Buzz Buswell, the best veterans friend that you could have is Mr. Buzz Buswell. I see Brandon back there. Kyle Ward, thank you for your service. Thank you for your knowledge and helping me out. Commissioner Beeler, I wished I had Commissioner Jay's work ethic to sit there and have pages after pages after pages of notes. Commissioner Beeler, I wished I could speak like you. I wish I had that orientation to be able to speak. Mayor, Vice Mayor, nice to know you and Julie. This is my friend, John Schoonmaker. You all are my friends, but this man came to me when I was elected and said, hey, you need to join the Tennessee County Services. And I did, went to the first meeting, loved it, enjoyed every minute of it. And this is the first person out of Knox County that had been in an elected position for Knox County, the third largest county in the state. Thank you, John, for being a friend and your family. My school people left me, so I'll call them and tell them that, hey, you left before I can thank you. And then Chris Davis, thank you very much for Chris. And as the great, wait a minute, I forgot one. I'll start crying on this one. This is my wife, Tammy, my best friend, my soulmate, forever. Come October 4th, will be 44 years. Wow. And as the great John Ward said, thank you.
Thank you to Commissioner Durrett for loaning us her phone for all the pictures. And we will now move on to next item, please.
We're on public forum for agenda items only.
So we've got 3 for Betty Road. Okay.
So I wonder if they want to speak during the time or just now. I mean, when the item comes up.
I have got 3 signed up for public forum. I've got Kevin Martin, Carlos Arias, and Dan Gard. I'm sorry. Would you rather speak when the item comes up, or would you like to go ahead and speak now? Doesn't matter? Okay. We'll just leave it when the item comes up, we can speak. Next item,
That
please.
takes us to approval of minutes from the previous meeting.
So moved.
Jay and Lee.
I had a motion from Commissioner Jay, a second from Commissioner Lee. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
We're on drives and roads, acceptance of new county roads. Item A is Whisper Ridge Lane. Item B is Shadow Branch Lane. They're both located in Whisper Ridge, District 8. C is Twin Maple Drive, located in Cedar Crossing Subdivision, Unit 4, District 7. D is Jana Chris Lane, located in Minot Villa Subdivision, District 7. And E is Calvert Lane, located in Johnstone Subdivision, Unit 2, District 8.
I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner Durant, second by Commissioner Hill. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
The next item is 42, consideration of the closure of a portion of Low Betty Road between Jubilee Farms Way and Ball Count Pike in District 6, and this is second reading.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Lee, second by Commissioner Thompson. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.
I think
Is this
had
where
some
we want to
speakers.
speak? The
Okay. Were they
public
s-
forum?
Were
Yes.
they just speaking to item 43?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yes. Next item.
Item 43 is consideration of the closure of a portion of Low Betty Road immediately north of the New Shod Road, District 6, on second reading.
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Lee. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. This is where we will call Kevin Martin.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I believe we should have had discussion before
Oh,
we
I
had this
apologize.
vote.
I apologize. Mr. Martin, if you'll give me just a second. Let's open it up for discussion. Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
Well, I'll open it up if you don't mind.
Commissioner Hill?
I know that we've got at least two signed up for this. This has been an effort to get to this point, and I'd appreciate it if everybody that took the time to show up, if you'd just stand up, please. I want you to know that this is the fourth time that especially these folks on the far right have been here since this had to have two readings and we had two workshops. So my thanks to all of you for or against this. I appreciate that y'all took the effort to come and recognize how important this is to so many of you. Madam Chair, if you'd like to call the speakers.
Thank you. First speaker would be Kevin Martin.
Madam Chair, just as a point of clarification before I maybe come up, our speakers come up, I think we should null that first vote to hear the discussion and come back and do another vote.
Okay.
If that's I mean, we sort of went through it before we realized we had speakers here, so.
Do you want to make the motion?
Well, I'm just looking to the law director to figure out kind of.
Well,
How to do that.
the proper way to do it would be for somebody who voted on the affirmative, which I think was everybody, to move to reconsider.
Okay, I'd make a motion to reconsider until we have a chance to hear from the constituents.
Second. Thank you, Commissioner Jay. Sir, if you will push, oh, I'm sorry. I keep trying to get ahead of myself, and I apologize. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Martin, you are finally going to get to speak. If you will push the button right there on the black box, and if you'll give your name and county of residence for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Okay. My name is Kevin Martin. I live at 6537 Carricade Lane in Knoxville. And I'm here to speak about in favor of closing that section of Low Betty Road there at Shod. When you come off of Ball Road from the north. We live in the Carricade subdivision. We have a daughter who lives over in Low Betty Landing. So when I first heard about them closing that, I thought, well, that doesn't make sense. You know, that'll keep us from being able to get over there pretty easy. But then when you get to the top of Lobeti Road there at Shawd going that direction, and you look off to the left, there's very limited sight visibility. And I had sent a picture, and this is actually sitting at that intersection. And if you look to the left there, you don't see much pavement at all. So if you're sitting there and there's a car coming from your left, you're going to be out in front of it before you're able to see it. So if many of you commissioners have lived in Knoxville for a long time, you'll remember there was an intersection at Pellissippi and Centerpoint Boulevard, and that also had a blind hill that was very dangerous. There were many accidents there and several fatalities. I also made a picture of that if we can put that up on the screen. There's a lot more concrete, a lot more roadway there that you can see, and that intersection was eventually deemed to be too dangerous to keep open, and it was closed. So, you know, I'm imploring you that if you care about the constituents, which I think you do, or you wouldn't be sitting up there tonight, if you care about their safety, which I do, you know, I don't want my family, I don't want my friends, my neighbors, or complete strangers to be subject to that intersection and risk their lives by trying to pull out into that traffic there. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Next speaker is Carlos Arias. Mr. Arias, if you'll push, well, it's already on actually. If you'll just give your name and address for the record, and you've got 3 minutes. Push the button. There you go.
My name is Carlos Arias. I recently purchased a house in Lobeti Landing subdivision. And I'm here just to oppose to not closing that portion. The reason is because I think when they open the new extension, Child Road, I believe sometimes that's going to be so crowded, and that's going to be kind of a way to avoid that heavy traffic. And plus, I have noticed that they're going to be building a new condominium or something in the backside of it. And that's going to be, you know, more traffic in that area. And I understand that it might be some kind of dangerous, that part, but it's been for a while. You know, I have been living here in this area for 26 years. And, you know, that place always been there. You know, many people been using it, myself too. And I think we got to be careful. I think that's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And our last speaker is Mr. Dan Guard. Mr. Guard, hi. If you'll say your name and address for the record, please, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Dan Guard, live at 3304 Lobeti Road. My family has owned that property since 1948, from the new Shawd Road all the way down to Ball Road, and still own it today. Well, first of all, I want to thank every one of you for serving our government. And as some of you remember last month, I said, you know, something might not be right with you if you're going to serve government, because I just couldn't listen to all this bickering all day. I could help you in any way I could, but it takes a special person to work for the government. I thank you very much. Like I say, we've been there since 48, or my wife's parents have, and we've been there since 1977, owning property there. We've moved the blind hill. It used to be probably another 70 yards up Lobeti to the south. They've lowered that road 22 foot. It's supposed to have been lowered 26 foot, but they run into rocks. So they've lowered it 22 foot. So they've moved the blind hill down right next to my yard where you can't see when you're coming up it. The first driveway, whenever you're coming north on that road, the first driveway is 77 foot from the new road. So whenever them people pull out of their driveway, by the time you count their vehicle, you've got 50 foot to get stopped before you run into them. They have to back out on the road. There's no way to turn around. There's short driveways on that side of the street. I think the next one's 134, and mine's 154 feet. Another thing, they've about a year ago, they voted to let a condominium unit come in just to the east of that property, and they've had to put a variance on that property because where they come out of that property to Low Betty Road is not a long enough distance. So that's another safety factor that we're dealing with. The speed limit on Low Betty Road used to be 20, and then it got raised to 25, but we've clocked school buses doing over 40 mile an hour whenever we had the flashing sign up there on Low Betty Road. Way too fast. It's way too dangerous. It just won't handle the traffic. One other thing that's been brought up is how far it is around and stuff. One of the neighbors said the other day, retired from the Air Force, he said, I will drive 10 miles out of the way to save a life. And as I brought up last month, we had a UPS man get head on down there at the other end of Low Betty Road, lost both of his legs and his spleen, a young man, 3 small children. He'll never work again, but a UPS driver done that just in the last year. So there's some real safety factors in that. It's good that we do have some neighbors out there that are thinking of others and the safety factor of that instead of just ourselves. I agree that it would be very inconvenient to have to go to another road, but it's not so inconvenient and not so very far to make it a safety issue on that and save some people's lives, because there will be people's lives lost right there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Guard. That is all for public forum. And do we have any discussion? Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to hear from Mr. Snowden.
Thank you, Commissioner Jay. Yeah, there was one thing I did want to mention that we haven't talked about this particular closure that I spoke to Mr. Moyers about, that I wanted to make you all aware of. We don't think it necessarily impacts the second reading, but we did want to get your all's consent on it. Planning Commission addressing has advised us that the closure of this particular section will then disjoin Low Betty Road. So there will be the folks that reside on the south portion of Low Betty. They're all newly created lots, so it's not like folks that have lived there for a long period of time, but their address will need to change. My apologies, we didn't know that at the last meeting, or I certainly would have brought that up. So I did want this body to know that when you deliberated about it. There is going to be the right-of-ways, or pardon me, the turnarounds that we need to construct to allow for safe ambulance and some fire trucks turn around. There will need to be maybe a couple little small tracts of right-of-way purchase for those to be constructed. I don't know if we've talked about that before, because after we've looked at it in the field, there isn't enough room there. That's what we first thought. And then I would like to make note that we would want to wait and defer these closures until the roadway was completely and the new shod's done. We anticipate to be late this fall, but just to kind of minimize everyone's inconvenience and to get traffic flows in the permanent state, we would want to make that change after the road was open. So those are just a few things I wanted to mention for your all's deliberation. And be happy to entertain any other questions too.
Thank you, Mr. Snowden. Commissioner Hill? They didn't sign up.
Thank you for your attention in this matter. We spoke about this last month, and I did encourage you all to try to go out and take a look at it if you possibly could. And then a workshop last week also mentioned it again, hoping that you all could have a chance to look. This road is it's less than 0.3 mile long. It's a very, very short road to begin with. The really the only in my world legitimate objection might be that instead of being able to access Shod Road, you would have to go down 0.3 miles to the road right next to it, which will be a through road. So the out-of-way to still get over to Shad Road, which will be a major thoroughfare, is less than a minute, clearly less than a minute. If Shad Road is closed at the Lobeti intersection. So the inconvenience is virtually minimal. The safety factor, though, is huge. I will tell you, pulling out onto Shad Road at this point in time is going to be very challenging at unmarked intersections. And the next road over I referred to, Bakertown, will be a marked intersection with a light. Traffic is going to be going fast. There's going to be a lot of it. Anytime we have the opportunity to shut down an access to a major highway like that, I think that it's certainly to everyone's advantage to do that. I can certainly address any other issues if you'd like me to, but truly looking at it, some people might say that it cuts off their access to Middlebrook Pike or to Shad Road or to or to Oak Ridge Highway. It doesn't. I mean, it just doesn't. You still have virtually a straight shot via other roads. So that's, I'll hold my comments if I need to.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. And there are two of your community members here. Did you sign up to speak tonight? Oh. Okay. Commissioner Hill, I'll leave that up to you if you would like to recognize them.
That's really the discretion of the chair.
Okay. Commissioner Jay, do you want to ask your question first?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a couple questions to Mr. Snowden. So, just to be clear, you said that if the north side is closed, then the south portion between Shad Road and where it would be closed, you know, before the railroad tracks, that south side would need 12 to 14, looks like 12 to 14 plots there would need a new address?
That is correct,
Like that road would need to be changed to a new name?
That is correct, sir.
And the process with that would come from planning?
It would. We would probably be the applicant on behalf of this body choosing to close it, but engineering would be the applicant. They would have to go to Planning Commission and then ultimately back to you all for the official name change. We would work with those landowners and accept. I think Planning Commission looks at giving people the opportunity to name it a certain way or gives them options. So, but yeah, we would work through that process and hopefully bring that back to you all within the next 2 to 3 months.
Okay, and then did you have an estimate for you said you needed some right-of-way acquisition for certain areas, terminus areas. Do you have any idea, ballpark, of what the expense factor would that be?
It would be minor. I mean, there is quite a bit of room there, but just not enough to get the full cul-de-sac in. So I would anticipate total project cost of construction and all somewhere around $50,000. It wouldn't be a large sum.
Thank you.
If I could too, Madam Chair, just for clarification, Commissioner Jay, the addresses that would need to be changed are not on the side that is in dispute.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm just thinking it does have an impact to 14, 15 different homes.
Yes. Yeah. Does the vote on the south side still stand? Yes. Okay. That one's been passed. Okay. Thank you.
I will allow you to speak. I'm going to give, if both of you want to speak, it's collectively 3 minutes since you didn't sign up before. Well, if you can make it all 3 minutes together, that's great. Apologize for that, but we do have a system, but I like to have people heard when they come down. So if you'll give us your name and address for the record, push that black button there.
Sol Arroyo, 6530 Carricade Lane. Can we distribute some information to the commissioners? Okay, so we're here, we're expressing our opposition to the proposed road closure of Lobetti at Schott. It's only one of three north-south connections from Ball Road to Ball Camp. If we close Lobetti, the intersection of Lobetti, that's going to limit residential visitor traffic from accessing Schott Road. It will impede efficient traffic flow by congesting Ball Road and the other two north-south connections at Bakertown and Johnson, which are still to be worked on. There's improvements that are expected there. So I wanted to point out that the citizen request that started this proposed road closure was submitted. It was incomplete. I requested the public records through the public records system, and the Knox County Commission rules require that those kinds of citizen requests come with a written statement and signed statements from all adjoining property owners expressing their agreement with the road closure, and that was not provided in the request that I made to the public records system. Additionally, the traffic study that was commissioned by Engineering and Public Works, I requested that too and received it, and it supports maintaining the intersection open. It was published in June 2024, so sure, another traffic study may be performed and findings may change, but as of right now, the existing traffic study supports maintaining the intersection open. There's already left turn lanes from Schott into Lobetti, and there's a short-term recommendation to make right turn deceleration lanes from Schott into Lobetti to more safely be able to turn into these roads. So the study also states that because of the increasing local traffic with the growing subdivisions and condominiums and future commercial developments that are being planned, Lobetti Road needs to have a well thought out traffic plan. And so closing this road is contrary to the findings of the traffic study. And the citizen request that started it was incomplete. The proposal to close it was contrary to the traffic study findings, and part of your packet is over 100 signatures from neighbors of the area that stated their opposition to the proposed road closure. Not every, life happens, and sometimes people can't come to these meetings, but we set up a tent at that intersection, and we stood there in the sun. We were sweating, and people came to us because they were in opposition of the road closure. So I just want to let you know that this was a community-wide effort of neighbors that opposed the road closure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. We have got Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just had a couple of questions. Ma'am, do you remember the date that you submitted a public records request? Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry. Do you remember the date that you submitted a public records request?
It was September 8th, if I'm not mistaken. It's attached in.
Okay. That's okay. I was wanting to ask because you did get a response saying that office was not the office to provide those records.
Right. So I submitted a request to the county commission.
Okay.
And then I submitted a request. They pointed me to the Engineering and Public Works Department.
Okay.
And that's where I received the traffic study. And the only other documentation that I received was the letter from Engineering and Public Works, the one dated August 7, 2024. And that letter was announcing that there was this proposed road closure and the dates of these public meetings.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Thank
Director
you.
Snowden, I have a question. Could you speak to the traffic study that they're referencing, and if this is a current traffic study and how it would impact consideration of this closure?
Sure. Yeah, we asked CDM Smith because one of the things that we knew that was going on, the plans for Schott Road were designed many, many years ago. And a lot's changed since then. And we understand that in addition to that change, development's going to occur all throughout that corridor. So we asked CDM to look at all the things that we need to be watchful for coming up. Obviously, they said we need to close Low Betty on the south side. They didn't mention this one, but particularly we didn't necessarily ask them to look at that particular. One of the things we were primarily concerned about was the railroad crossing. So we thought that they would recommend closing Bakertown at the railroad crossing, but they did not. In these folks' defense, the study didn't look at that. I don't see necessarily a problem with the closure from a traffic flow perspective. If you guys want to pursue that, there is a development that's coming on at the corner of Bakertown that when it develops and the concept plan gets approved, we'll work with them about making some improvements to Bakertown, because obviously there's going to be a traffic signal there as part of that proposed development. So does that answer your questions?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Director Snowden.
Thank you, Commissioner Frazier. Commissioner Lee. Okay. Commissioner Jay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Snowden?
Yes, sir.
Can you address the statement that that there wasn't a proper documentation on the front end from a request per our rules?
Sure. And I would say that that would apply to both these. The one that was just approved, it was a safety project. Those when the engineering department feels like that there's a safety issue, we don't necessarily go through. I mean, we don't have to obtain those signatures. I think that is, I interpret that as a guideline. I mean, we certainly want to follow it when there are certain issues, but in this particular case, I don't know if following that procedure was something that we were required to do. Maybe Mr. Moyers can speak to that, but it's my understanding that we can still put these on the agenda in the absence of having all those signatures, just because there may not be an opportunity to obtain those signatures, especially when it's a safety issue.
I guess I understand that, but I'm also looking at the copy of, and I'm assuming this is from our latest rules, but tell me if it's not the same. In our commission rules, rule number 6, miscellaneous, section C, it does, before a road closure shall be considered by the commission and placed on its agenda, the following requirements must be met. A written request for closure given the name of the road, the right-of-way width, the length of the section to be closed, location of the road in relation to any existing roads which it intersects, person whom the right-of-way is to be transferred, and the name of the person requesting the closure shall be submitted for review to Engineering and Public Works. Doesn't say submitted by who, either internally or, I mean, this reads as if it's a member of the public. And then it says a copy of the request to be sent to the Director of Engineering, who will sign signed a copy of the request to all the utilities and any other governmental issues about the right-of-way. And then it says the request will be accompanied by a signed statement of all adjoining property owners who agree with the request or do not object to closure. So that wasn't necessarily done either, if it's triggered by you.
It was not. And in this case, and maybe I've looked at it wrong, but when the county is the applicant, we have historically not done that. But maybe we should. I'm not saying that, but I mean, in this case.
Yeah, it just seems right now we're in conflict with our own rules, even if it's the precedence that's been set. And I don't know how to reconcile that with, I mean, you could suspend the rules if it comes from the Engineering and Public Works versus if it comes from a citizen, but it's true. So none of that, since it was initiated by your team, none of that occurred?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. All right. Maybe other people have questions. I'd kind of leave it at that, but the process is in contrary to the way the rules that we have in commission. So I'm struggling with how to proceed. I guess since maybe Commissioner Hill, you can I'll jump in on this one.
Thank you, Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Hill?
Yes, I'd be happy to address this. This whole process began when we were looking at the plans for Shad Road and looking at basically how the demographic out there has changed, and there's been so much additional growth and development, and recognizing that we had this Low Betty Road, both the north and south side, that both of those roads are like 4/10 of a mile. So they were very short roads, and then primarily really looking at the safety factors once there was a plan made that a light would be put in at Bakertown Road. I talked to Mr. Snowden about it at that point. He indicated that Roads and Engineering did not have any preference one way or the other, that they would be happy to have this be something that was brought to the people. At that point in time, I did have a community meeting for the people on the north side of Low Betty Road, which is the area that we're talking about. I believe we just decided there was 47 homeowners there, and 32 of them, I believe, are all in that one roundabout subdivision there, and the other 5 or 6 actually front Low Betty Road. Talked personally actually to all of them except one I did not get to, that we're all very excited about the prospect of being able to turn this little 0.3 mile road into a dead end and divert any traffic coming in 0.3 of a mile down to Bakertown Road, especially given what the final look of the entrance from Shad Road onto, or from Low Betty Road onto Shad Road was looking at. It just really is not a particularly safe situation. Even Mr. Snowden had indicated that these traffic studies they do are very fluid, that they're subject to change. One of the huge changes that's occurred in this area is the extreme amount of growth and development coming on. This, we can put all the speed limits we want on Shad Road, but we already know that it's going to be a pretty fast thoroughfare. And to have cars slow down and make a right or a left turn off of Shad Road into that piece of Low Betty Road, when it would just be a matter of 0.3 of a mile less to make another turn, just because they don't want the inconvenience of a turn. I think weighing that to the safety factors involved is just really not even in the same category. And I will say too, as far as this petition that you all got, I can tell you for certain that you'll see what they signed, which talks about merely closing Low Betty and Shad Road, but when questions were asked, there was very strong indicators left out there that it was going to take people miles and minutes to go another way because of this road being closed, and that just is not true, not even close to true. So there was definitely some misinformation that went out when this petition was signed. So I bring to you the will of the heavy majority of the people that live on that section of road, and their desire to have that road closed for safety reasons. There will be a cul-de-sac at the end so that people can turn around if they make the wrong turn, which I think they'll probably only do one time when they realize they can't cut through. And it just will make that whole Shad Road corridor a much safer new road in our county. So that's
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. I would like to call on Director Moyers for you to opine on this, please.
Well, I'll start by saying that these are the commission's rules, and so it's for the commission to interpret them. But I will tell you this. There is a procedure set forth in state law for the closure of roads. Closures of roads happen for two reasons. One, because neighborhoods want the roads closed and they come and petition the government for that, for whatever reason. You may recall recently we had an issue with a road that closed the latter portion of it because people were going down. What was the name of that road, Jim? People were going down there and doing naughty stuff, and so the neighborhood wanted it closed. And in those circumstances, they will come to us and say, we'd like this closed for these reasons. And I think the way I read this rule, it is designed for that sort of circumstance. The county government has plenary authority over the maintenance of the roads, design of the roads, whether they should be opened or closed. And so there's certainly no requirement under state law that we seek anybody's approval or permission to close a county road. So I wasn't here when this rule was created, to my recollection, but I believe that this rule is attempting to follow the state requirements with regard to citizen-requested road closures. You may choose to read it that way or not, because they're your rules and they're for you to interpret. But I think that's what was being attempted when this rule was formulated. That's just my guess.
Thank you. Commissioner Jackson.
Yes, I was actually drove Lobetti and Ball Road this couple days ago, yesterday, and looked at this intersection. And if anybody's ever driven down Alcoa Highway before they got everything built, you know how dangerous it was, where subdivisions were coming out right onto the highway. This is what this highway will be. I did see some risk to Ball Road. People do drive fairly fast on Ball Road, but I believe it's safer to have people access to Ball Road, and I believe that I will be in favor of this closure.
Thank you. Do we have any other discussion on this item? Seeing none, I will turn it back over to Commissioner Hill.
Madam Chair, I would like to hear Mr. Moyers discuss. I know we're on a main motion right now, and I'm still learning Robert's rules, but I believe there can be a secondary motion underneath a main motion, and just for the purpose of keeping things clear, I would like to make a motion that we do suspend the rules, and maybe we can, in the future, we can address, we can clarify under what circumstances an application can be made by the commission versus an applicant. But because we're faced with this, I think it would be good to make a motion to suspend the rules for application for closing a road for this particular case.
Okay, that requires a second and 2/3 vote. Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Fox and a second by Commissioner Lee. Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can I get some clarification on the motion? Is it a substitute motion to suspend the rules and approve the closure as a combination, or just suspend the rules and go back and consider it separately?
I would be willing to, I guess, treat that as an amendment to the main motion. Maybe that's the procedurally correct way to handle it.
So a substitute motion to suspend the rules and approve as presented?
Yes.
Thank you.
Because we made a motion to reconsider.
Right.
So that's where we're
Right. We don't.
We haven't had another motion.
Yes, thank you. We actually don't have a main motion on the floor because we made a motion to reconsider and we seconded that and that passed. So we'll need.
So we've entered discussion. So you could move to suspend the rules at any point. In fact, I think it's best if you're going to move to suspend the rules that there isn't a main motion on the floor under general parliamentary procedure. Whether that passes or fails, we really need to probably get a motion in order to proceed with discussion. We've reconsidered, but the motion is, there's not a motion to approve or deny on the floor. So we need that. But I think we should probably take up the motion to suspend first.
Okay. So Commissioner Fox?
Yes, well then I make a motion to suspend the rules and approve the application.
And is that good with the second? Perfect. All right. And so we will be doing a roll call vote. We're on number 43. Mhm.
42 is already.
Right, right.
What district do you want me starting in, or does it matter?
Just start in the one. That's fine. Yeah.
Commissioner Rawls.
Can I get some clarification on the motion?
Director Moyers?
Sure. The motion is to suspend the rules, I think for the purpose of correcting if there are any irregularities here, and to approve the road closure. So an aye is a vote to suspend the rules and approve the vote closure.
And approve the road closure?
Yes.
Okay.
Together.
So, aye.
Commissioner Durrett.
Aye.
Commissioner Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Jackson.
Aye.
Commissioner Russell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Lee.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Fox.
Aye.
Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Frazier.
Aye.
Thank you. That's unanimous. Motion passes. Thank you to the community members that's come out all the times that you have. We appreciate that. Next item.
Line item transfers, total amount of $16,285,170.49.
Do you have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Frazier, second by Commissioner Durrett. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Budget amendments, total amount of $5,665,355.17.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Jay, second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
We have 157 notary public applications.
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Durrett, second by Commissioner Thompson. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Number 46, spread of record, the Knox County Mayor's order reappointing Tim S. Brown to the Board of Commissioners of the Northeast Knox Utility District. Item 47 is a spread of record, the Knox County Mayor's reappointment of Lindsay Willis to the Knox County Sheriff's Office Employees Merit System Board of Directors to serve a 3-year term beginning September 30th, 2027. And number 48 is a spread of record, the election of Chris Blazer to represent the Criminal Court Clerk's Office and Ann Sutter to represent Seat B for the Sheriff's Office on the Employee Insurance Benefits Committee, effective immediately to fill vacant seats with terms ending December 31st, 2025.
Thank you.
Move approval is presented.
Well, we don't need a motion.
We don't do on the second spread of record.
So
That's right, you're learning. That's okay.
Keep going.
Go ahead.
Item
Yeah,
number
next item,
49
please.
is Resolution 115. It's a resolution reappointing John Valiant to the Knox County Sheriff's Office Employees Merit System Board of Directors. Term expires September 30th, 2027.
So moved. Motion.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Who made it?
Was that you, Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Second? Mr. Rawls. All right, so we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Thompson, second by Commissioner Rawls. Do we have any discussion? Open up the floor for Commissioner Thompson. No, you're still on. Okay. Commissioner Hill.
We have proper motion and second on the floor.
Just discussion.
All right. I reappointed Mr. Valiant while I was still chair. It had not had a chance to get on the agenda yet to be properly approved, and I have no issue with this applicant. He did a good job the 2 years he was on it. He's been very upfront and open about what he thinks and how he feels, but I've heard no complaints about the way the Merit Board has functioned or the duties he's performed. So I had no problem recommending him for another term.
Thank you. And we have Commissioner Lee, and Mr. Valiant's in the audience, so if you have questions, feel free to have him come up.
Madam Chair, thank you. I've had several discussions with several community members that were interested in serving on this board, so I would like to make a substitute motion. According to the commission rules, Section M, Part 2, It outlines that appointments to committees is a public process where members of the committee can apply to serve as a volunteer. The Merit System Board of Directors is one of several committees. Mr. Valiant has served the completion of one term, but there's nothing in our rules that says that a sitting member of the committee is automatically reappointed. The positions should be publicly noticed, and we should take applications as we've done before, and I make a substitute motion to open the seat on the Merit System Board to all who wish to serve our Knox County officers. And if Mr. Valiant wants to reapply, he can then address the commission as being the best candidate, and he's allowed to do that, but I would make that motion.
We have a substitute motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Jay?
I do want some clarification. Your substitute motion is to go back through a public process by where the commission office would announce it again and we would seek applications and come back next month? Is that the?
Yes, that is the motion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we have a substitute motion on the floor and a proper second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No. Roll call, please. Yes.
Commissioner Darrett.
Nope.
Commissioner Oster.
No.
Commissioner Jackson.
May I get a clarification on what the motion is? We're motioning the substitute.
The motion is
So,
to
aye.
public and notice it.
Aye.
You voting aye. Commissioner Russell. Aye. Commissioner Hill.
No.
Commissioner Lee.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Just shout it.
Commissioner Fox.
Aye.
Commissioner Jay. Aye. Commissioner Frazier.
Aye.
Commissioner Rawls.
The substitute motion fails, so we will, no, I'm sorry, the substitute motion passes. I apologize, I was looking at the wrong column. I don't have my glasses on today. It's 6-5. 6 ayes, 5 noes. So the motion does pass.
So we do the process. They have to read. I guess we do it.
Yeah, so now we will open it up to receive applications.
Okay.
For a new member. Next item, please.
Item number 50, Resolution 602. It's approving Amendment 1 to a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Health for the provision of recruiting, retaining, and training the public health workforce, which amendment increases the maximum liability of the state under the contract by $26,200 for a total amount of $1,228,600. No local match required.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion on the floor by Commissioner Frazier, second by Commissioner Rawls. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? I'm sorry, discussion. I had it down. Sorry. We have discussion on this item. Commissioner Hill.
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Fox.
I apologize, Madam.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor and a proper second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item number 51 is Resolution 604. It's a resolution approving a contract with Ernst & Young LLP for the provision of completing a needs assessment and environmental scan of mental health resources.
Thank you. Do I have a motion on the floor? Motion by Commissioner Rawls, second by Commissioner Durrett. Any discussion? There you go. I got it now. Seeing none, all in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item 52, Resolution 701. It's a resolution approving a community parks and Knox County Youth Sports Facility use permit to allow short-term use of specific seasonal sport fields by nonprofit organization conduits engaged in providing sports leagues to the public.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Frazier, a second by Commissioner Thompson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item number 53, Resolution 702, is a resolution approving the Knox County Youth Sports Policy and Procedure Handbook to formalize how Knox County Parks and Recreation Department youth sports leagues are organized and conducted.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Frazier, a second by Commissioner Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item 54, Resolution 803. It's a resolution approving a lease agreement with the Industrial Development Board of the County of Knox for the Fairview Technology Center for a term ending on November 26, 2033, which space is used as a business incubator.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Durrett, a second by Hill. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item 55 has been deferred to October. Item 56 is ordinance O-24-8-101. It's an ordinance amending the Knox County Code, Chapter 2, Article 10, Division 1, Section 2-763, Title 6 of the Civil Rights Acts of 1964 to comply with the new guidance from the Department of Homeland Security. This amends Ordinance O-16-8-101 adopted September 26, 2016, Ordinance O-19-3-101 adopted April 22, 2019, and Ordinance O-22-10-101 adopted November 21, 22 on second reading.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
Madam Chair, I move to defer this matter to October.
Okay. I need a second. Second. So I have a motion on the floor to defer to October and a second by Commissioner Lee. And this is a majority vote, so it will be a roll call.
Is there discussion?
Oh, discussion. Oh, y'all got to remind me of that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The reason I want to defer this is it started with the previous commission. It takes 2 readings. And I was interested in what was motivating this particular change. And it's based upon a grant that Knox County received, a federal grant. I would like to take a look at the grant. I would like to know what I'm voting on here, but what I'm concerned about may turn out to be nothing. But one of the changes that is proposed is a change regarding making a certain statement with respect to Title IX. And right now there is a lawsuit coming out of the Eastern District of Tennessee that 18 states have filed, including Tennessee, of course. Tennessee was the lead plaintiff. And right now this case is up in the Court of Appeals, but it has to do with the federal government's interpretation of Title IX, which has some novel elements, I would say, and the court found that, I believe that element was not warranted, like the interpretation offered by the federal government or the national government was not warranted, and the national government is appealing that. But I'm concerned about this broad statement that is now being implemented into the charter. It may be nothing, but it may be something, and I just wanted to step back and be able to take a look at that issue before we adopt this particular broad non-discrimination statement.
Thank you. I do see Stephanie Candler from HR department, I'm sorry, and I would like her to come up and give some insight on this, if you don't mind.
Sure. Stephanie Candler, Senior Director of HR and Benefits, 400 Main Street.
Thank you.
So this, we currently are basically helping facilitate what the grant requirements are. So we're doing the lift in conjunction with our Grants and Community Development Department. But we've got Title VI outlined in our handbook as our standard policy. That's all that's been required so far for us. And as part of this grant requirement, they have a Department of Homeland Security civil rights evaluation tool that they had us fill out. And one of the components of that tool was asking for our non-discrimination policy, which we don't have. We just didn't have an external facing policy that existed anywhere. And since our office is kind of the centralized office for policy, we decided to work with the law department to expand what we currently have for Title VI to include basically all of the other civil rights laws that it would apply to, ADA, Title IX, Age Discrimination Act, and then a caveat under the Homeland Security requirement that actually allows for religious, faith-based organizations to participate in social services programs that are grant funded as well. So this kind of just came out of that. Our understanding is we're basically taking the policy that we have outlined currently and just broadening it to say we'll comply with all of these other federal civil rights laws.
Thank you. We do have Commissioner Durrett. Ms. Candler, if you won't go very far, just in case anybody else has a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Candler, so because we apply for federal grants, we have to make sure we are in line with federal law, correct?
Correct.
And is that, so this is just an external facing document saying we are in line as far as encompassing all civil rights laws that we do that now?
Yes.
And that's what this ordinance codifies. So,
and I should point out, this isn't specific to just this grant. This is specific to all federal
to all
funding.
grants. So if, postponing it could postpone the business of Knox County.
Right.
And receiving any kind of grant that could potentially take place in the next month or so. So I think we can't put county business on hold for every federal lawsuit that's filed. If in fact, and Commissioner Fox, I don't know the specifics of the federal lawsuit, how it would pertain to this, but if in fact the ruling from this lawsuit were to somehow affect this ordinance, we would then, of course, update it. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Because we have to follow federal law.
Yes. Whether we write it down or not, we have to comply. So we're just making a statement that didn't previously exist to say that we are.
Okay. So I see no reason to postpone this one.
Thank you. Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Moyers, can you help us just help bring some color to this of if it's added now, how it may change or may affect, depending on if they change policies on a federal level or lawsuits? I mean, obviously anything that we do in an ordinance can be changed with 2 readings at any time.
Well, what I think Mr. Fox is referring to is a guidance that was put out by the federal government in regard to Title VI and Title IX sex discrimination. The bottom line, it's an interpretation. It is in the courts. What doesn't change is that sex discrimination, however that's interpreted, is banned by federal law, and whether we incorporate our agreement to follow federal law in an ordinance or not, we are obliged to follow federal law. Not just because we want grant money, but because the Office of Civil Rights and the Justice Department will be breathing down our neck if we don't. So it is incumbent upon us to do this. I think all this does is encapsulate what we are required under the U.S. Constitution to do anyway. But if something were to happen with litigation that were to change things, we could easily change the ordinance back. I just don't think that anything that's in this ordinance affects our responsibilities as a local government to follow the federal law, which we're obliged to follow under the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution.
Thank you, Mr. Moyers.
Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Was a deadline given for this body to adopt a new outward-facing policy by the federal authorities?
I think we were given 1 year to fulfill the, they had a few things that they came back with and made suggestions on based on the evaluation tool and are giving us a year to fix those.
How far into that year have we gone?
This is the second reading, so, you know, that tool was done, I'm not sure. We have until March.
Okay. So there's no real rush right now to get this done, is there?
No.
And now, previously, the policy that we're talking about implementing here was just a policy with respect to employment with Knox County, is that right?
Yes.
But what I think I read in the documents that you sent me, which I'm very thankful for, thank you, Director Candler. I think I read in those that as a consequence of this grant, that the federal government was requiring a broader statement than, even though it's related to employment with Knox County, the requirement was a broader statement than just applying to employees. Is that correct?
Yes.
Was there a justification why an employment policy for Knox County employees only had to be expanded to apply to, I think it said, every citizen of the county?
So basically, logistically, just to have a centralized hub, those would still, all of those, we still can't discriminate under the ADA, we still can't discriminate under Title IX. It covers education and sports, obviously, but it's any activities, which in some cases do include employment activities. So we just felt like we couldn't go wrong by basically saying we're going to comply with all federal and state laws when it comes to civil rights.
Doesn't Knox County already have a non-discrimination policy that applies to, well, maybe this may be a question for Mr. Moyers rather than you, because your expertise within the county is employment. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So, Mr. Moyers, if I may ask you a question, doesn't Knox County already have a statement of non-discrimination with respect to following federal discrimination guidelines?
I believe we do. I wasn't prepared to answer this question. I'm fairly certain we do. I think we're required to have it. Where it's codified, I couldn't tell you as I sit here at the moment. I'd be happy to dig that up for you tomorrow. But as I say, regardless of what our published policy is, we have to comply with federal law. I mean, we don't have any choice in that matter. So I don't know if there's another statement someplace else or if this modifies the only statement we have. Stephanie, do you know?
Well, and I would like to add that I didn't say yet. So updating this ordinance creates this statement for us to have a policy codified under this ordinance. But that we have a little work to do after that. So I think that's where, yes, we have some time, but this is not also the only thing that we're doing. And so we don't want to really hold up the work that's already been done on it, because we have a whole second leg of work that needs to be done, because a lot of this is going to be specific to the policies that individual departments have in order to administer these programs. So essentially, we'll build our framework for the non-discrimination policy, which will also come before this body. And we were hoping to put that on in October or November so we could meet the timeline for March.
What is the particular grant that this is related to? Do you know off the top of your head?
I do not. That would be my colleague, Jenny Holden.
Okay.
I just know it's a Department of Homeland Security grant.
Jenny Holden, Grants and Community Development. This is the Regional Catastrophic Preparedness Grant.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Lee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we have to apply by federal law regardless. So I don't see how this, to defer it 1 month, is going to make any changes, that we should be able to read this before we vote on this, because we still have to comply with federal law. So I don't have any problem with deferring it a month.
Thank you. Commissioner Rawls?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think as a county, which has already been demonstrated, that We already abide by the ADA rules, the discrimination rules, et cetera. So I don't understand why we need to postpone and discontinue what we're already doing by filling out this information for a grant, a federal grant, which we are applying for. It's just a statement of what we're already doing. We're already a non-discriminating county. So an outward-facing statement doesn't change anything. It is the way we do business anyway. So it is my suggestion that we end this, move on, and vote to leave it as it is.
Thank you. Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to just direct everybody quickly to our online agenda. Under this item, if you go to the online agenda, there's the ordinance, then there's the red line policy language, and it doesn't have a fiscal note. So that's not really the issue. But I really want you to just look at the actual policy language. It's actually pretty simple. I'm going to take a minute to read it. It's a section 276, and maybe you can pull it up on the screen. This is section 2763. It used to be called Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It is now just simply titled Non-Discrimination Policy. And this is what it says. Knox County complies with federal, state, and civil rights laws and is committed to providing its programs and services without discrimination to members of the public, clients, consumers, program beneficiaries, and employees in accordance with, but not limited to, Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits discrimination based on race, color, or national origin, including language. Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 and the American Disabilities Act, which prohibits discrimination based on disability. Title IX of the Education Amendments Act of 1972 prohibits discrimination based on sex in the education programs or activities. Age Discrimination Act of 1975 prohibits discrimination based on age. And the U.S. Department of Homeland Security Regulation 6 CFR Part 19 prohibits discrimination based on religion in social service programs. It is against the law to retaliate against anyone who takes action to oppose discrimination, files a grievance, or participates in the investigation of a grievance in accordance with the above authorities. Any individual alleging such harassment or intimidation might file a complaint. Complaints must be made in writing and submitted to the non-discrimination coordinator. More information on the non-discrimination policy can be found on Knox County's website. So that's what we're voting on. Seems very clear, seems very concise, and it seems like we are simply saying we as Knox County, including all the people that work for us, participate in us, are in government, go to our parks, have anything to do with Knox County government, we will follow these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 federal laws and do so without discrimination to anyone. It seemed like a very basic policy. If something changes on a federal level with any of these, we will, of course, abide. But I don't see any reason to not move forward with this now. It seems very simple. So I'd offer a substitute motion to approve item number 56 as presented.
Second.
So we have a substitute motion on the floor by Commissioner Jay and a second by Commissioner Durrett. Any further discussion? Commissioner Fox?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I want to understand what I'm voting on. And really, I don't want to make an injudicious vote, and I certainly do not believe that anybody should be discriminated against. I am concerned, of course, about the novel interpretation of Title IX that the federal government currently has. And I don't want to do anything to commit Knox County to adopt that interpretation. That's why I want additional time to look into it. I want to read the grant. I want to see the strings that are attached. And that explains why I just want a little more time so that I can understand what the vote is. I don't want it just to be a vote where I have not put thought into the vote. So that's what this is about. And I guess essentially I'm asking my colleagues to allow me a little extra time to figure it out. Maybe you already have it figured out. But we're certainly not up against the deadline. We have until March. And I'm asking that it be continued for 1 month. So I stated my case. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a substitute motion on the floor. Commissioner Jay, do you have something else?
Yeah, I just have one more point, and with all due respect, Mr. Fox, I really think we're voting on this particular policy as it's written, and we're not voting on a grant. Every grant has to be presented to us separately to review that grant, to review its merits, to review any strings attached. I just feel like to go 3 or 4 levels into the onion is not what we're voting on today, and this seems very simple, but all grants will come back through us for further consideration, so I'll leave it.
Thank you, Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Fox, did you have something else? No? Okay, perfect. We have got a substitute motion on the floor with a second.
Madam Chair, I think Ms. Chandler, sorry.
I just wanted to add an echo off of Larson's. This policy actually would apply to all of our grants, not just Department of Homeland Security. So all of our grants that we receive, this policy would put us in compliance with.
So just Commissioner Thompson?
Just so we're clear, that currently if we do not do this, we are out of compliance?
We would have some more work to do, yes. It would not fulfill the requirement for this grant and then potentially grants in the future.
Okay.
Commissioner Fox?
Okay, and you said we have more work to do. How would deferring it 1 month impact the March deadline?
So if we need this statement in order to create the framework for the non-discrimination policy, and we're not going to work on that until we have this, which would pretty much push all of that work back.
When did you anticipate being done with this process if this were passed today?
We were shooting for bringing the second part of this to commission in the October-November timeline. Okay. And that way, if it receives any issue, we have some time then afterwards to fix that.
So this then, if it were deferred, it would just push it back to November or December then? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson?
Okay, to Commissioner Fox, if in the deferral, because you mentioned the litigation or the whatever, would any of that be resolved before we meet in October? Or what's the timeline on that being resolved? Because obviously what you brought up would be if something were done there, then we'd have to change this. So I'm just curious on that timeline.
I think I heard Mr. Moyer say 6 months, and that's probably an optimistic.
I just said months. There's no telling that.
Yeah. It would be a long time.
Commissioner Thompson?
So whether we postpone now or postpone to October or vote now, it could still be 6 months or months down the road, and we'd be in a similar situation for that litigation as we are now.
That's true. Yes.
Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say, Commissioner Fox, I applaud you wanting to do the background and the research. Someone who likes to dig into details, I do appreciate that. I also want to state that as someone who has written several grants in my lifetime, I do know that the wheel turns very, very slowly, and I do understand what our department heads are trying to accomplish with getting ahead of this. And I also want to say, having worked with both Director Holden and Director Candler, I know that there's been no T uncrossed and no I not dotted. And I do think that we do run the risk of slowing down some of these grants. As you stated, the federal government doesn't move fast. We are set up to react and respond quickly should the federal government change and issue statements and change our policies. And I'd feel pretty comfortable and confident that that would occur. So I agree. I think that we do need to go ahead and get this ball rolling so that we don't hold back any funding.
Thank you, Commissioner Frazier. I will add, for new commissioners, and this is just to give everybody, a heads up, when we put out our non-consent items, if you think that you have questions, please find out the department to call and get the information from, because Ms. Candler, Ms. Holden might have been able to help you with that, or anybody who has something different, that they're always kind of your first line, and so it's always best to try to reach out to them first, and you may still be confused once you talk to them, but it's always good to reach out to them. Okay, so.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Fox.
I appreciate Commissioner Lee's second. I think in light of the discussion, and that's why we have this discussion, I think I'm going to withdraw my main motion. Now, of course, it was maybe I'm procedurally irregular because
we're on the substitute motion.
Yeah, but
thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I think we've all might have forgotten what the substitute motion is. So we're going to the substitute motion with the second is to approve the ordinance as written. So we will start roll call.
Commissioner Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Jackson.
Aye.
Commissioner Russell.
Pass.
Commissioner Hill. Yes. Commissioner Lee.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Aye. You said aye. Commissioner Fox.
Aye.
Commissioner Jay.
Aye.
Commissioner Frazier.
Aye.
Commissioner Rawls.
Aye.
Commissioner Darrett.
Aye.
And does the pass wish to vote?
And does the pass wish to vote? No. Okay.
You still want to? She still passed.
You're still passing, correct? Okay.
It's 10 ayes and 1 pass.
We have 10 ayes and 1 pass, so that does pass. Thank you. Next item, please. I don't think we have any public forum. All right. Do we have any other business before this commission? I've got a couple of items that I want to get out, but Commissioner Durrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before he sneaks away, I would like to call attention to Jesse Mayshark. Today is his birthday.
Happy birthday. All right. Do not forget, early vote starts October 16th. As you heard, Mr. Davis let everybody know that we have multiple early voting places, so make sure that you get your people and tell your constituents. We do want to recognize Commissioner Lee's birthday is on Monday. Is that correct? So happy birthday. I'm going to say anybody who drives down Cedar Bluff Road starting tomorrow night, it will be milled down, repaved, restriped, and we're adding a second turn lane from Cedar Bluff to Middlebrook. Thank you, Mr. Snowden. So excited about that. And I'm going to follow in my predecessor's footsteps, and I'm going to give a little saying at the end. I don't know where your destiny will be, but one thing I do know, the only ones among you who will be really happy are those who have sought and found how to serve. So thank you for your service. And we are adjourned.